Welcome to our presentation. This is called Giving Students Power Over Their Own Geographical Knowledge, and it's about mentoring school student research as a high impact practice.
So I'm Dr. Elizabeth Rushton from King's College London.
And I'm Professor Helen Walkington from Oxford Brookes University. We share a core principle that all students can undertake and benefit from research-based learning. And I have a background of studying higher education pedagogy and have identified with colleagues in America 10 salient practices of undergraduate research mentors through a review of the literature and ongoing research. With Lizzie, we've explored research as a pathway to developing powerful geographical knowledge. And so we've translated this work from undergraduate settings into school settings. So powerful geographical knowledge can be developed by students in schools or universities when they can genuinely participate in research projects. And obviously this idea has affinity with the third type of powerful geographical knowledge that Alaric Maude mentioned, i.e. knowledge that gives students some power over their own knowledge. Also, in recognition of Margaret Roberts's work, research projects provide a pathway for students to develop and act on their own geographical curiosity. So the teacher's role is to draw out a student's need to know. So by working in authentic research settings where the answer is not known, our project links into education for sustainable development and the development of geocapabilities, because it looks at a climate proxy. And Lizzie's going to outline the project that we did when she was a school teacher and I was a member of staff at the university.
So the project that I worked on whilst working as a secondary or high school geography teacher was based on a climate record from Whiten Woods in Oxford. So I ran research projects with students aged 16 to 18 years, so at the upper end of high school, as part of an extracurricular programme where the only prerequisites were enthusiasm, interest, and the willingness to give up a Wednesday afternoon each week. So the project that we want to briefly tell you about today looked at a 12,000 year record, a climate proxy from pollen taken from a peat bog core from Whiten. So Helen was part of this research team that was looking at this climate record, and she invited me as a geography teacher and my students to participate in this research project, as my own PhD had included pollen analysis as a climate proxy. So I took the students on a trip to Oxford Brookes, and as part of that visit to the university, Helen gave a lecture about the importance of the woodland and about climate records. And then in a laboratory session, she taught the students to take samples from the core. So back at school, and after the samples had been processed to isolate the pollen, I taught the students to identify the pollen grains, complete the pollen counts, and supported them to analyse the data. So my role was to provide the students with the necessary knowledge. So for example, the changing climate of the UK, with the skills, so the identifying pollen and using the microscope, and also the networks, so the access to Helen and to the team at Oxford Brookes, as well as ongoing support and encouragement so that they could collect and analyse the data and present their findings to others. And my role as a teacher really shifted to that as a mentor, a supervisor, and occasionally a cheerleader, providing encouragement when they were a little bit discouraged. And the students used their experience as a project as part of their applications to university, and sometimes through academic routes as part of a qualification in the UK called the Extended Project Qualification. But these students were not the traditional A-grade students that you might imagine, and only one of them, I think, was intending to go on and study geography at university. They really came to be part of this project because they were interested in the environment, and they wanted to be part of a team, and this project provided them with the opportunity to do both. The benefits for me as a teacher were huge. I was able to continue to be involved in research, which was something that was very important to me. I was able to develop my practice as a teacher in a different way as a mentor and a supervisor. And I was able to provide opportunities for my students that they otherwise wouldn't have had. And there were also benefits to Helen, and she's going to tell you a bit about those for her.
Yeah, for me, the benefit was to firstly be able to work in schools, and well, not in schools, but to work in partnership with schools, and to really understand where the students that come into universities are coming from, and to understand that something of the geographical understanding of those students. But more importantly, it was to work in partnership and to be able to think about ways that mentoring is important. So I'm interested in not just the geographical knowledge that students are gaining, but the professional socialization that this kind of research-based learning can have, and also the personal and emotional support. And so this started a really fruitful vein of research between myself and Lizzie for us to think about the theory behind our work together and that mentor-mentee relationship, whether that's in universities or in schools. So the benefit for me for the ongoing research was around the research impact agenda in the UK. In higher education, we're expected to show that our research has impact beyond higher education, preferably. And so to be able to bring key practices of excellent mentoring into schools from a university setting was really important. So Lizzie and I then continued with our research, and we interviewed 96 teachers who had been teacher mentors. They came from a range of disciplines beyond just geography and included psychology, all the STEM disciplines, so biology, chemistry and physics, as well as geography and psychology. And I think that's really important because these are the disciplines traditionally associated with education for sustainable development. And we identified together 10 salient practices for school teacher mentors, so slightly different and adapted from the data collection that we've done for the school setting. And we've published an open access journal article, the links here, and also in our references at the end, which is called 10 Salient Practices for Mentoring Student Research in Schools. And we feel that this is a really key opportunity, not just for initial teacher education, this 10 salient practices forms a great framework, but also for teacher professional development in an ongoing way. And Lizzie mentioned the benefits to her in terms of professional development when she was teaching, before she got into initial teacher education, and that networking beyond the school. And I think that's something that perhaps motivates teachers and changes their identity to teacher scientists, teacher mentors, and so on. And again, we both have ongoing work in this sort of area. So I'll finish with the references, and we'd love to get feedback from you and take questions in due course. Thank you very much. Bye.